A big question that everyone has right now is who will be the big bad or the main season villain of Arrow Season 6. Now, previous seasons of Arrow have given us little hints, little teases, like the way Season 1 set up Deathstroke, and even Season 3 with Ra's al Ghul set up Damien Darhk. This season finale only set up that it seems like most of the cast members are gonna get blown up on the island. And while that could lead to an interesting Season 6, seeing Oliver fight against the mangled corpses of his fellow friends and enemies, I don't think they're gonna be any kind of a threat to Oliver. I think that Oliver could probably beat all of them, no matter how injured they were. So, let's break down all the choices for who could be the main villain of Season 6 of Arrow, and then I'm going to give you my main choice of who I think it's actually going to be. Now, first off, before we go through this list, the interesting thing about all the main villains of Arrow is that they're really from all across the DC universe. And technically, only Malcolm Merlyn in Season 1 is the real Green Arrow villain that the show has used for a main season baddie. See, Deathstroke was, of course, a Teen Titans villain that only fought Green Arrow in the comic books in Identity Crisis. Now, past Identity Crisis, he has become a main Green Arrow villain, but pre-Identity Crisis, he was mainly just a Teen Titans hero and / an anti-hero when he had his ongoing series in the 90s. Ra's al Ghul, of course, is a Batman villain of the 70s, and of course, it also has been used as a Birds of Prey villain. And Damien Darhk and Prometheus are larger DC Universe villains. Prometheus, of course, was introduced in Grant Morrison's JLA very early on in Grant Morrison's run, and he did sort of create a rivalry with Green Arrow in Justice League Cry for Justice, but Prometheus is really a Justice League villain. So at this point, Arrow could literally use any villain of any hero in the DC universe, and I think they could make it work. So my first choice, and I think it would be actually really awesome if they used this choice, is Joseph Wilson. Now, I know Jericho, as some would call him, is not a villain. He's a Teen Titans hero, but he sort of does have in certain storylines a villain streak. Now, in the finale of Season 5, Oliver Queen provided Slade Deathstroke Wilson with files that described everything that Oliver and Felicity and possibly Helix had found on Wilson's son Joey. Now, in the comic books, Slade has two sons, Joe and Grant. And in previous seasons of Arrow, Slade's wife Adeline and son Joey has been referenced. Now, they were both seemingly killed during a raid on Wilson's home, but we don't know if that's true. Arrow has told us plenty of lies over the 5 seasons, and we've seen enough fake outs on this show to already know that you can't trust anything anybody says unless you actually see the dead body. Rest in peace, Tommy Merlyn, Season 1. So, Joe Wilson could follow the path of Grant Wilson in the comic books because Grant Wilson was known as the Ravager, who was a villain of the Teen Titans. And in fact, it is his death that leads Deathstroke Slade Wilson to become a villain of the Teen Titans. And also, Joey is also a meta. He has the power to take possession of any humanoid being he can make eye contact with, and once inside, Jericho takes possession of his target's voluntary motor functions for his own use, basically attaining full physical control if the body is unconscious. If the body is conscious, they sort of have like a mental battle inside, but still Joey gets to control any body that he wants. Now, Joey being the villain could lead to Deathstroke and Oliver teaming up just like we saw in the Season 5 finale. Now that is if Deathstroke actually survives the giant explosion. We don't know if he does, but if he does, it'd be really cool to see these two, you know, heroes / enemies team up again. And this would also give us a lot of ties to Season 1 and Season 2, which that connection really helped the 5th season be a stronger season. Next, they could use Black Siren, but I really hope they don't use this choice. Now, we know that Katie Cassidy, Black Siren, is going to be in the next season of Arrow, and hopefully only as a recurring character. Now, this is the evil Earth 2 version of Laurel, but to be honest with you, I don't think she has the power or the presence of character to pull off being the big bad of an entire season of Arrow, but I do think she'll definitely be around for a bit of next season, and I suspect that her relationship with Quentin Lance is not done. I have a feeling that Quentin might try to redeem this evil Earth 2 version of his own daughter, you know, a little bit more than what we saw in the season 5 finale. Another villain the show could use is Onomatopoeia from Kevin Smith's comic book run. Now, Kevin Smith was going to actually write, there have been a lot of rumors about this, a script for this season of Arrow featuring Onomatopoeia. And it never happened, it never gestated. So we don't know like what happened with that episode. So maybe season 6 is the season that can bring Onomatopoeia to life. Now, if you don't know who Onomatopoeia is, and I'm probably butchering his name like crazy because it's a very difficult word to say, he's a serial killer villain who says all the sound effects that he creates in comics. So when he pulls a trigger and the sound effect shows blam, he then says blam. It's a little creepy. It's kind of a construct that can only really work in comic books. I don't know if you can pull it off in live action, but with this character, you could do anything with this character because no personal characteristics of this villain are revealed in the comics, aside from the fact that he's a Caucasian male, a white guy, which is seen when portions of his face are shown when they pull up his mask in Green Arrow number 14. Now, the producers of the series Arrow originally intended to adapt Onomatopoeia for a 2013 episode in the first season. However, executive producer Andrew Kreisberg states that his team changed their minds after reading Kevin Smith's statement in an interview that the character could not be adapted in a good way for screen. Instead, they created the character of Mr. Blank, who was a mysterious and highly effective contract assassin, and they cast J. August Richards from Angel in the role, and he appeared in the episode Home Invasion, where he played an assassin on the hunt for attorney Laurel Lance. So unless they can get Kevin Smith to write the episode featuring Onomatopoeia, I doubt we see him. Here's another choice for the season 6 villain that I really hope they don't do. Helix. They could do the Helix Hacker Collective, who learned all of Team Arrow's secrets while kind of pulling Felicity to the dark side. And remember, Helix did screw over Team Arrow and Argus to free Caden James, who was a dangerous hacker. They never told us who Caden James was. I had a theory that maybe it was Felicity's dad because he still is out there somewhere, and maybe teaming up Felicity's dad with an evil organization could really make an effective season, but I really hope they don't go that route. My choice for the season 6 villain of Arrow would be Keiji Beast and the Bratva. Now, in Arrow, we've already seen the namesake of Keiji Beast, Anatoly Knyazev. Now, I probably mispronounced that, and I apologize to all my Russian watchers. Now, Anatoly has been Oliver's buddy since season 2, but I think the season 5 breakup between these two characters is going to have some season 6 consequences. In the comics, the Keiji Beast is mainly a Batman villain, and in addition to being a master of several martial arts, his strength is actually cybernetically enhanced. And he's also mastered the use of every deadly weapon known. So he's a badass assassin guy. And at the time of his first appearance, he was rumored to have killed at least 200 people. That first appearance, of course, is in the storyline called 10 Nights of the Beast in Batman number 417. It's a pretty cool story. I suggest going to read it because I do think it's going to have some impacts on Arrow season 6. But I think if Arrow were to create the Keiji Beast, it would not be Anatoly. I think it's going to be one of Anatoly's men, because Anatoly, of course, is a great character actor. You're not going to turn him into this villain where you put a mask over his face, but maybe it could be one of the Bratva men who maybe gets addicted to the Stardust drug that was introduced in Season 5 that we know enhances people because it is a superpower drug that exists in this universe. Maybe it could be more Marikulu that we saw what it did to Slade in Season 2. There's plenty of ways to create Keiji Beast, and I think that this will create a personal connection between the villain and Oliver, which really was the power behind the villain of Season 5. And I think that Arrow should keep that storyline going. Personal connections, powerful emotions, connected to a powerful villain. Also, Stephen Amell has already revealed that the theme for Season 6 of Arrow is family. So who better to attack him in Season 6 than his Russian family, the Bratva? All right, so what do you think? Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm crazy? I also had a small theory that maybe Red Star, the hero, could be turned into a villain for Arrow. Maybe there's a possibility of that. Go down to the comments and tell me who you think should be the villain of Arrow Season 6. I'll comment as well. We'll have a little conversation down there. And if you're new to my channel, please click subscribe and also help support us on patreon.com/Jawiin, where you can check out my exclusive comic book reviews only on Patreon. We'll see you next time for more nerdy videos about comic books. Until then, I'm Jason Inman.